Hello. Welcome in, everybody. Little bonus stream for you today. This should be fun. Bonus stream, let's go. Bonus. I usually stream on Thursdays, but we're here today on a Tuesday night. We got some things to do. Today we're going to get back to sesh and do some Go programming. Hello, welcome in. Glad to see you here. I probably am going to play my non-copyrighted or copyrighted music in my ears today. Try to get in the flow. But I can show you guys what I want to do. I've made some progress this morning, and I figured, you know what? I need to keep doing this. I need to code more tonight, and so that's why I'm here. I always like coding with you guys. You're always very informative and helpful. So let's see what's up. All right, so I've been working. A lot of brainstorming, a lot of ideas. Music is required. Garrett, you like my transitions? So what we have here is ideas. So Wes term, fish, right? tmux, neovim. These are things that I configure a lot. And so I tend to create sessions based off of these. You'll see some more down here, like blog posts and joshmedeski.com, and tmux FCF URL is a plugin that I maintain. And so, yeah, these are all super useful. Update is an interesting one that I'm going to play with. But basically, all that matters today is that we begin to sort of stitch the pieces together. So you can see I've already sort of got them listed. But if I were to pick one of these, it's going to crash. I'm going to go, I don't know what to do with that, right? So we haven't gotten that far yet. You'll also notice that they're sort of listed between sesh and the directories themselves. So I've been meaning to play around with some ideas. Hold on, I gotta check on the dog. What do you have? These aren't yours. All right. My dog found things that she wasn't supposed to find. You stay away from that stuff. All right. So, little work in progress. I'm able to list sessions, but I need to improve on this code. So as of right now, I sort of pulled this out into its own function. And basically, all these functions are doing is they're taking the data source, in this case tmux, and converting it into this generic sesh session. And so that's sort of step one. Again, all this code has already sort of been working before, so I'm not changing a lot here. I'm just sort of adding some more. So here's configuration stuff. So if I want to list configs, we'll see here that I just say, cool, here's the thing. So if a tmux session already exists, I kind of want to just skip this. So I have this idea of just passing in existing sessions into each function. And conceptually, it was a lot simpler. Even down here, you'll see that we were passing tmux sessions to Zoxide lists. I'd rather just list any sesh session and do the same sort of pattern. And so we'll see here that I take this logic down here and I say if I create a map and then I use the map and I say if it exists, then just keep going, like skip this thing. So I guess I could just borrow that again, some sort of func make session map, right? Is that the code I wanted? It's funny that it just knows sometimes. Make map for loop return. Yep. So then when I receive the configs, I want to do some sort of simple merge existing sessions. So we're going to have our map. We're going to make the session map. Ooh, that was weird. My session map is going to determine if it exists. If it exists, we append. No, we don't want to do that. What do we want to do? We want to like flatten the session that I already had and the one that's coming in. I sort of want to like flatten both values and normalize them into a single session is the idea. What's up? I see more people are joining. Say hi in chat. We're just coding. So if you guys have any questions about development or career or tmux or Vim or anything like that, we've been doing a lot of lazy Vim here on the channel, but feel free to ask questions as I'm working. So practically, I think I'm fine with, in the case of sesh, pulling in tmux sessions, we get source name path attached windows. What is there anything additional that I would want to receive? The thing about the listing is I don't need to list the configurations of any kind. I just need to continue down the list without repeating myself. So if I'm connected to fish, I wouldn't want it to repeat a second time. So that's one. I guess with the Zoxide list, we just said if exists, where was it? List here, what did we say? If exists, if doesn't exist, do thing, right? So if in my list, I'm passing existing sessions, I would just do a quick check here. So this is existing session paths. Hello, more people are coming in. Say hi in the chat. You guys are always quiet, but it's always fun to chat. Let's see. All right, we're gonna. Is this the right one? I'm gonna move these up. So these will go up here. We're gonna make our session map. We're gonna merge existing sessions. I don't know. So existing session, if this is going to be self-referential, this is not very useful. That's hilarious. $EX as was your variable. That's amazing. All right, so this is not really needed. I guess I'm not really going to merge here either. We're just going to have a really simple pattern we'll reuse. So make session map. There's my map if it exists. So outside the for loop, we need to do our map. Make session map, and then maps path. All right, so if that path exists, did I do it based off the path? Yes, cool. I don't need the session itself. I'm just doing a check So can I turn this into an array and just return into an array so that I can check if a is in the array later. Let's see if this will be more useful. I feel like it'd be faster. This needs to be quick. Yeah, this needs to be much faster. Session, make session, I don't know, paths. Yeah, this is all I need. So for all of these, let's rename paths, rename for the session, append the thing, yes. Can I assign the length beforehand? Assign the I think I can. It just is like a memory performance thing. I think that's all I have to do. So we just make it. So yeah. So let's just we know how many there are. So let's make the array. And we append to it. And that's it. All right. So we have our paths. And then when we list, that's fine. When we do this, we have paths, and then we, what do we call this? Make session paths. I'm just going to do this. Session paths. And then we'll say that basically skip it. What did they tell us to do? They said if I don't want to loop through it. Let's just ask a performance problem from ChatGPT. So let's see, they're going to say, provided has a time complexity of O to the n due to the for loop, which checks each session. The more performant way would be to check the presence of the value and go using a map. So they're going to tell me just do this anyway and map it to true. That's amazing. Okay, so that is more performant, and that's fine with me. I don't need to loop through all of them. I just need to check if one of them exists. I guess it's a trade-off. Andres, I'm sure you have some feedback on this maybe, but let's see, this one, session paths would be like a sessions map. And this would be existing sessions. No, I guess it's just sessions. On its own, we're just making a map. Session map. I'm going to feel like a maker function makes more sense. Yeah, I think I prefer this because I don't want to have to do loops if I don't have to. Because here we just say if, okay, then how do I check if it's in the mapping later? I think we just do what we did before where we just say like, hey, if this thing exists, then that means they have just a straight up is in session map. Then you pass the session map and path. Sure. This is simple enough. I like it. And then if it is in the thing, then do that. So I guess we're going to do some sort of inverse statement, probably. So if not is in thing, then do thing. And this is going to be the maps, make session maps, map. Oh, session map. I think map might be a reserved keyword, and then we're going to say session.path. Session. Session config. Oh, right. All right, so you like maps over loops, Andres? Yeah, that's what I figured. So existing sessions, why doesn't this work? Can I do a pointer? Can I do that? No, I can't. Sessions. This is not a string. Wrong, ChatGPT. Yeah, it doesn't know everything all the time. Good thing we're paying attention. And then if not in session map, do thing. So, I mean, let's just build list 32. Path. tmux sessions, undefined, resulting in, yeah, that won't do anything. Existing sessions, which comes from here. Sessions. Basically, we're gonna change this. I didn't really like that this was using tmux anyway. The idea of like Zoxide and tmux knowing anything about each other was something that I was hoping to get rid of anyway. Session.session. So something like that. I guess we want to probably get rid of this. I think I'm just going to let Zoxide give me all of its results. I'm actually going to probably transfer the score over to the other session, I think would be a good idea. And then maybe we sort by score. Sort of a freebie for us to improve the UX of the CLI. Man, quiet chat. All right, so we don't need to list anything. And this doesn't need to list anything. This just needs to return. So we have the command, we trim it, we splice it, split it. We get our results. And then in our for loop, we create our Zoxide result and return it. Yep. Okay. So that's good. And we'll probably, for now, do what I've been doing, which is a func called list Zoxide sessions. We'll potentially return an error, and we will always return sessions error. And so I've been kind of just pulling out this part into its own function and then doing the mapping separate. Names. Using that name, map the session. Okay. Yeah. So that goes here. We take the results. We make sure there's not an error. If there is, we're doing a simple thing here. If not nil, then we format the error. Couldn't list Oxide results with that. I guess I just want to return results. What's up, Typecraft? Chris is here, everybody. Go check out his new tmux video. Dude, congrats. That was cool. I liked your latest video. That was a fun one. Check this out, history. Oh boy. Josh just watched it just a few minutes ago. A little shout out to Chris. Man, your next video needs to be on sessions. We're going to try to add tmuxifier support and tmuxinator and tmuxp and basically any of the major tmux session creators will be integrated in sesh after we get through this work. Okay, why? That might be why. So we list, we return the results. We list if results pair lists oxide sessions, gives us the sessions. We'll rinse and repeat this. A lot of error handling in Go, which I don't mind, but I don't love. All right. So what did we say? We had our mapping. We're going to have to repeat that. So this list sessions, we made a mapping, and we said that if it's not in the mapping, then you can do the thing. In Zoxide, we're going to do it slightly differently. We're going to say, do the mapping again with the existing sessions. Hold on. We did that up here. That's the whole point of all this. So I have sort of two options here. I could pass the sessions through each function and then say whatever was in the last function, we don't care about. All we care about is adding to the thing that we pass around. That might make more sense because right now what I'm doing is I'm listing and then I'm appending and then I'm listing and then I'm appending and then I'm listing and then I'm appending. Versus we could list, assign it, list with the overwrite. I don't know. I feel like this appending is pretty straightforward, especially if I decide to change the order in which these things happen. Because part of me thinks that maybe people want to, I don't know, put configs last, or me personally, I might want to put them in line with the Zoxide results. So Zoxide results and config results are all mixed together so that the configs I don't use much aren't taking up the top here. That's sort of what I want to do. I'm sure there's some preferences. What do you guys think? What would you want? If you started making config files like this and you had lots of different configs, so each time that you ran one of these configs, it would like start up your project a certain way, or you would just name your tmux session a certain way. Of course, all of these are pointed to a certain directory. Do you prefer the idea of like sorting all of these? I like the idea of sorting these based off of the Zoxide score. So if like I never use downloads, it doesn't show up here. It shows up somewhere below in the ranking of Zoxide scores. Sort of my idea here. So let me know, chat, if you have any thoughts on what you prefer, because I want to take your opinions as well. All right, so let's keep going. Sockside sessions, we're going to do the mapping. And then we're going to say if the thing exists, because we're going to take this and we're going to range on the results. And we're going to call this a result. And if on the session map there is a result dot path, yeah, we called it the same. The map goes above. If the map has the thing, then we're going to probably overwrite it. And that's sort of the part where I'm like, if I need to sort them based off of it, that means I need to take all of the existing results and create new results by doing it a certain way. What matters to me right now, let's just start with the basics. What matters to me right now is that we don't repeat ourselves. Because as someone who uses this constantly, all the time, every day, that's the part that matters, is that if I type what I expect, I don't get multiple results. Map results, if in session, we're basically going to, where's my Zoxide? Somewhere down here, we're going to do this again. We're going to generate this. Let's just start with that, and we'll go from there. Let's just see if this even works, right? So rather than doing all of this, we're going to get our results. We're going to take the results, and we're going to results. I guess they're Zoxide sessions. They're not really results. So boom. All right, so let's just see if when we build this, go 95. This guy looks fine. Returns a session. What are you not liking? Expected this, but found a list. Oh, maybe it's somewhere up here. Yes, we need another one of these. And this is... This is one of those things that, don't I just want to make a list? Yes, this is where it was a little bit different this time. Zoxide sessions. Make this based off the length of... Oh, I don't have a length yet. I don't know what it will be. So that means we do what? We do var thing. And then we take our results. And for each result, we push it, right? Okay, let's do this right. Session Zoxide sessions I equals that. Can I do that? I should. Why was it being weird? Okay, auto formatter. All right, so this still won't build. Missing metadata. Missing metadata. Broken import. I don't see anything wrong. So command list. Weird. $94. Not enough return values. That would make sense, right? Right? Nil deferred, but index operation. Yes, we're not allowed to capitalize, I know. I don't know what this one means. Andres, any ideas? I need to start using my NeoVim AI tools. I know that we talked about them, but this is easier for me. What if I don't know? Oh, I guess I do know. I'm dumb. I'm dumb, chat. All right, so we will take this guy, and this seems to be a make on. I forget how this thing works. So you say the first part is what it is, and then the length is the results. Like that. That's why we need to first, we do know what we want beforehand. And I guess we'll do that. We'll get our map, we'll do our thing, and then we'll build, right, chat? We'll build, and then, hey, we can see what we want to see. And then I should get things like fish. So c.filesconfig fish, that one should have skipped. Why didn't it skip? So sesh fish c.filesconfig fish. Hey, you're here. You're here. I can't believe it. Have you been waiting for us? You've been trying to get on my streams live? Yeah, Tuesday is a different day for me, so maybe that just aligned with your schedule. Okay. So I sort of have what I want, but see the duplicates here? That's not supposed to be there. So let's take a look at something simple like, I wish I could debug this. I really want to use the debugging protocol for these kinds of things. But I digress. If result path equals, is this not pretty? Is it like, okay, you know what you're supposed to be. Print line. Oh, it's capital. Autocomplete's great until it's not. Hey, fair question. Why am I using tmux as opposed to WebTerms multiplexer or SSH? Well, SSH probably wouldn't do a good job at what my workflow is. But the WebTerm multiplexer, although it is good, it's in its infancy, so there aren't a lot of features. tmux is very rich in features, and if you don't know, I write a lot of tmux plugins, not just one, and so I'm just sort of baked into the ecosystem. What happens if I print this? I don't know. So now if I sesh list we get all of these. Oh, so it's going to print a map. Okay. Yeah, that's what I figured. So Zoxide is going to give me a full path, and the code here is mapping on the session map result paths. So yeah, but I would think I would still get, I guess I need to know what that map is. Yeah, sesh is mine. It was called the T script, and it was like, I have a really popular YouTube video on it, and it like combines Zoxide and tmux together to make for like really fast and efficient and simple to use tmux session manager. And so we rewrote it in Go. It's been really fun. Guess I could just do this. But yeah, the rewrite's been really fun. It's been more performant. We've been able to do a lot more with feature set. I don't need value. I don't care about value. So value. Why don't we print line? K for key, why not? So now, yeah, see, we get the full paths. And the question I have is there a simple way? So if these are the full paths, yeah, these are the full paths, then I would want, maybe the config part is wrong. Config path. No, that's right. If equals fish, let's do like test. Session config path. All right, so we got that substitution here. What is it going to say? Has possible printf formatting. Fine. Okay. We're not using options anymore. Yeah, I guess we're not. Get rid of that for now. List. Config sessions. Config sessions. Sure. Good question. Can you name a feature you mainly use tmux for? Absolutely, I can name tmux sessions for. So if you're not familiar, you can create tabs. You can create windows, right? And so, well, that one's not very clear, but so, you know, sure, iTerm does this, fine, that's totally fair. I wrote a plugin that updates the tmux names to icons, which I really like. And so if I have like neovim and a lazy git, and let's say there's like a node process running all at once, we can see here that I have my terminal, I have my fish shell, I have another editor open, I have LazyGit, which is a little tree, right, for Git. And then I have JS, which means it's a node instance running. So for me, it's sort of out of the way, but it's visually kind of more appealing, and it's only one character. So it takes up very little space. So that's one thing I like. You'll also notice that like I can hit Command G to open LazyGit, and I can hit Q to quit it. And so that sort of customizable bindings is something you're not going to get with the built-in tool like iTerm. And then I have Command K. Command K lets me open any project that I would ever want. So if I want to update my terminal emulator, I can just type WesTerm. And just like that, I now can go and edit the WesTerm files. If I want to switch to dot files, right, this is my whole dot files project where all my dot files live. If I want to switch to my website, whiskey.com, it's a little screwy right now, but you'll see that it not only does it let me now pick a file, but it also starts up my web server. And so now I didn't do anything. We can see that my website's now running in the background, which is pretty sweet. Now, if we're here, I can also use Raycast, and I can say, hey, I want to switch back to the sesh project that we're working on. And just like that, I switch back to sesh. All right. Some of the other plugins I've written are things like if I want to look at my nvim config and I want to see like Telescope, all of these are Git repositories. That's the way LazyVim works. So if I hit Command O, I now get a pop-up and I can type out whichever one of these I want to see, like all recent. If I hit Enter, it opens the browser. And so that's a plugin that I forked. So those are three that I use. You'll see at the top corner, I have all of my Git info, like how many files have changed, lines of files have changed, and the branch I'm on. And the top right shows me what session I'm in. So as I switch between sessions, it's just Command K, go to the thing I want. And it's often just 2 or 3 characters. So one that I go to a lot is my website, right? And so there it is. These results are a little funny because we're right in the middle of development. But that's one reason I use sesh. That's why I created it. I think it's really fast and easy. And the list will be sorted by how much you use the sessions. So as you use certain sessions more, they show up higher in the list automatically using a tool called Zoxide. And that's sort of the power of sesh. That's why I like it so much, is that it gets smart and it gets better as you use it more. Yeah, so maybe that's some selling points, maybe not. I really like it. It makes me wildly productive. And yes, this is LazyVim. We've talked about it a few times on stream. I have, of course, gotten rid of the bottom bar. My file name's sitting up here with some Git and LSP info using incline. I don't like indented space characters. I don't like line numbers. I don't like a lot of clutter in my view. And so you guys can tell I'm a pretty minimalist. This like green stuff that you're seeing on the side, these little dots, is my variation on a Git gutter. So that tells me what files have changed. Let's go back to the project. So if we're dealing with absolute paths, the question now is something like the tmux session. I need to get rid of that print. That is definitely in the way. So is Zoxide renaming them? Yeah, okay. So Zoxide gives me that. The config files give me that. The tmux files give me that. So I guess we just have to figure this out. So the mapping's fine. Zoxide results are going to be different. I wonder if I just do my path. Is it session path? Dir paths. Dir paths. If has prefix. Join the home dir. Trimming that. Maybe I'll just use alternate path. But Zoxide's already doing it. Does Zoxide always do it? No, Zoxide doesn't always do it. So I'm doing some sort of transformation preemptively, probably. Path to pretty is name. That's why it's coming out as name, because I'm converting it on the display value. So then why would the values come back bad? What is going on? I still have something printing that I don't want to print. Yes, I know. So we list our tmux sessions with the path. We list our config sessions with the path. Oh, maybe that's why. Maybe the path needs to be the absolute path. Maybe I need to convert it the other way. I think I've done it before. So where has it been talked about? Expect, expect, expect. No, none of this is what I want. If has prefix, alternate path, put thing. Maybe? Is it path? I don't mind path. Paths. Dir. Oh. Dir alternate paths? All right, let's try that. That might be it. I just need to convert what I have. But we are still printing a bunch of shit we don't want. List map, print. Print. No, go away, print. All right. So now, is that doing a better job? Let's see, was term didn't work. Okay. I could probably just stick to sesh. Let's just put this over here. Sesh list dash S and C. No, T and C. Yes, okay, that's better. I can live with that. So basically, .files config wes term should line up with this wes term, which means the second wes term shouldn't appear. Have we even dealt with that? This session map shouldn't have the path. Is the map on the path? The map is on the path. Print session path. All right. Oh, that's going to be weird. So we got user boom, 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 Wes term. That looks fine. And then on the mapping equals true. We take the mapping, we map it on the mapping. So we're going to format print line of exists. That's interesting that it's just like, hey, thing is a value. It would be value, something like that. All of them don't exist, but that's not true. Let's format print line of path. Oh, come on. It's interesting that it's like, I won't build. You didn't do it right. All right, fine. Oh, well, how did this change? T and Z. Oh, I'm getting a bunch of things dumped out. It's the full path. It's the full path on these. This should be C. Oh, interesting. What's being passed in is the tilde slash. But that means that my config sessions, tmux config alternate path didn't work. So if we say config path is alternate path, print path is path. Is this fine? Okay. My alternate path, I can't say that. Tongue twister. Is coming out with the tilde slash. So how do did I not do it right? If has prefix replaced with home dir. Yeah, that's what I did. So maybe I did that wrong. Let's go back to dir paths, if has prefix. Has prefix style is absolute. Why did this not work? It does have prefix. So something about that doesn't want to play nice. Has prefix. So shouldn't it be transforming the value to the full path and returning it? So that's the part that confuses me. So if this thing, let's take a look, path. Well, that's not very clear, is it? Config alternate path. Huh? Config alternate path is the full thing. Okay. And then the value that gets passed into the is session map. Interesting. Is that the one that's not working? Making the session map session.path. So somewhere up here, we're going to see session.path. We're going to see Wes term. Boop. We're going to see was term. Keep going. All right, so this guy exists. And then we're going to loop through my list a few times. Like, let's try the 5th time. The config alternate path should be the full path, which it is. Are those the same? They are. It has the prefix, and then the map just doesn't map. Well, I don't think I'm getting an error on the user home dir because I'm getting the config alternate path. There's something wrong with the logic that maps. So our mapper is not right. I guess we have to just loop it for key and no value. So the map I don't see session map key called was term. Here it is. No, that's session.path. Weird. Why is this happening? I don't want to be stuck on this. I want to get past this. Forward. And my music stopped. Maybe that's why I'm being unproductive. What should I listen to? You guys want to see what I've been listening to? Little JT, little Jacob Kali. How about this one? This should be fun. A little spam in there, Maya. Let's see. What can we do that we haven't done? So the path has been printed. The key is supposed to come after that. And that is when we make the session map on the sessions. It should repeat, shouldn't it? Somewhere down here. Is the key only happening once? Is that the problem? Is my map not good on the config side? Oh, because I'm only printing that one. Sure. Getting the alternate path, config alternate path. Yep, that's what we want. Oh. Chat, we have to do that first, don't we? I bet that's it. So I set the alternate path, but I didn't actually call it the right way. Oh, look at that. We get all these empty results. Okay. So let's get rid of some printing. Print, don't print, don't print, don't print. Don't print. Nice. So these are the ones that have the prefix. Has prefix. Let's try that again. Has prefix. Go away. Okay. Nice. So wedge term's here, and then we shouldn't see wedge term. It shouldn't be an empty space. So how do we go about telling it to just keep going? because our length is determined by, okay, so let's see if it has any tips for us. I'm guessing the length can't be decided ahead of time. So exactly. So we're going to append. That's what I thought. So we can't really do this on any of them. So what? Session map, config sessions. Yeah. So these values go away. Go away. So we have our config sessions, is a var. And then instead of doing this, we're going to append session. Is that enough? Config sesh equals. Okay. And then we don't use that. Can I do that? Is that enough? Nice. Nice. We did it, chat. Step 1. Get all of this to play nice. And then we'll repeat it, right? Cool. So that's step 1. Now, if I were to add Z, we'll probably see, will we see was term in here somewhere? That's probably toward the top. Yeah, see, still there. All right, so let's rinse and repeat that problem and solve it again. So rather than making the list from the results, we got our var. We make our sesh. If the thing isn't there, then we're going to say these oxide sessions equals appending these oxide sessions on that. Append. That's funny. Append. Append. I've still not used. We know. Is that enough? I don't think so. So we could do these two. And we'll end up with was term up here and was term down there. Okay. So to get rid of it, we need to say if path. We're passing sessions. We're making a map. What is in here when we pass it? Oh, how about we pass it, chat? Do you think that might help? What does it say? Too many arguments. So, sorry. Go back. List. We need to pass sessions. Existing sessions. And the session map should be built on the existing sessions. And if it's already there, then we don't want to do it. So that means we should have, keep going, was term up here. And then the was term that we saw earlier is no longer there. Hey. Very nice. Do I need to use alternate path? No, I don't think so, because when we looked at it, it's working. Zoxide names the session a pretty path, but it calls the path value underneath the hood, like what is the actual value of that session, is the full path. Because Oxide doesn't truncate these paths to something like this. So I'm feeling pretty good about listing. This is sort of the least exciting part of it. So here we can see, yeah, we can see Wes term, and then we don't see Wes term in the list, and we don't see Wes term there. So if I type Wes term, there's only one result. That was sort of what I was talking about. And furthermore, if we go to the Wes term thing and we close it, there should only be one of these. And then if we do sesh config Wes term and we comment that out, then we get only this session. So that's the idea. Once we create these sessions that we know we want, you'll be able to type a word, like it's like a trigger word, and that trigger word will match exactly the session that you have in mind, whether it's a Zoxide result or a configuration option or a session. Those are like any combination of those things. It should make this a lot more streamlined. Because I find that sometimes when I have a long list and I have these sort of long paths of like this thing, config, dot files, config, Wes term, sometimes the things I want to type, like WE as like a short example, like it doesn't quite match initially. But if you got rid of everything at the beginning, then of course it's going to match, right? So that's been the bonus. All right, let's see. So the to-do, let's close some of this. We don't need the node process running. I will say that either in here or here. All right, so let's just go through this code again. So we get the sessions, we append, and we finish. So for now, configs are listed in the order which you define them in your config file. That's fine. I think in the future, I would like to restructure this code, but there's a lot of work here already, so I think we're better off. So here's our config flag, and we're parsing the config itself and passing it into the list, because we're actually taking all of the values. I haven't talked about this yet today, but everything here is being renamed to the double bracket session. And for every one of these, you can have as many entries as you want. This is like a repeatable pattern in TOML. So this is a TOML file, and you can repeat as many of these as you want. And so what it will do is it will fetch the name and return that in the list, right? And we know that the session is bound to this path. And so when we do sesh list, we're also able to determine the path. And so that's what lets us sort of programmatically remove Zoxide results so that we don't repeat ourselves. Because there's no need to list both this and the Zoxide result, because this works as an overwrite. And so you'll see here, this is what I want to implement next, is the startup command. And so once we have a session that we've determined, we've plucked it out and selected it, on the connect command, we want to get this configuration. And rather than what we used to do was this startup script, which was a file that needed to be configured and executed, which I didn't love. I'd rather just have simple startup scripts like fish, just in vim config.fish, and for wes-term, in vim wes-term.lua, and for utility new work trees. This is something I'm playing around with. Just automatically run the work tree script. So it creates a new session, it asks me some questions, and my idea is when I'm done, I'll be able to see the status of it, and when I'm happy with it, I can hit like Q, and it'll just kill the session and it'll go to the new session. So something like that. And then second brain, right? This one is the Obsidian today command, and so it'll open up my today file immediately. So yeah, these are the ideas. Same with NVim. It's like, okay, or not NVim, tmux. If I want to do tmux, and okay, open both of these files at the same time. Binaries is something that I do a lot. bin is sort of funky because it shows up in certain places. But if I say binaries with a symbol as a reference point, it jumps right to it. Same here, like I could do like Zen mode where this is my Zen mode, where it like removes all the clutter and zooms in on the text. I really like that, although for you guys, I have to increase the font. So I have all these cool ideas. I kind of brainstormed this morning. And so what I think is the most valuable thing here is that we can do that. And then what will come after this, which maybe will be Thursday's stream, I'm going to try to work on this between now and the next stream on Thursday, is something like this, where you could say that like you could point to a tmux p file, and if you reference the tmux config as this place, then instead of starting the tmux session on its own or with one of our custom scripts, we can run the tmux p command and start up the session in the way that you defined in the tmux p or tmuxinator or whichever projects we decide to implement, basically. So I'm excited for that. I think it's going to work out really well. And we will just rinse and repeat ourselves here. So this is the config itself. And then we pass it into the list. I might zoom out a little so I can see better. We have our new structure. So session config is the name of this thing. And basically the default option will be any of these values. And then for individual ones, you can basically overwrite the default value. So this will be a mix and match, do whatever you want to do, pick whatever tool you want to pick. Here's the pattern. Pretty straightforward, I think. Some cleanup on error formatting. I added a config option. You guys have already seen that today, the little gray cogs. This all doesn't really work yet, so I'm a little bit hesitant to commit it, but I think I'm going to go crazy if I don't. So on our list, we've consolidated all this logic. Look at all this red. Yeah, so we're moving it all. It's working fairly well. Config is a new source, so we can list all of the configs that we've created. And then this guy has been simplified. We're not going to do any specific tmux pulling out filtering logic in the Zoxide package. It needs to be done externally in the list package. This needs to go away. All right, so feature add config and list config sessions. Drop tmux extract list logic for each source into its own function. Add icon for config list. Let's call this a gray icon. And then we want to, I think that's it. By the way, did you guys see the new LazyGit updates? Pretty slick. I'm a fan. I like all of what they brought to the table here. Yeah, so if you haven't, go check out. Jesse has a YouTube video. So if you're in the LazyGit release logs, you'll see that they've sort of listed the video where he talks about all the stuff that changed. But pretty exciting stuff. All right, so I guess the main thing we should be able to do first is create a session from config selection. Got my bullet journal. I don't know if any of you guys are journalers, but I tend to stay focused by writing down what I'm doing and not veering too far off the path. Okay, so I guess we're just going to say the determine logic. When we determine the path can be determined based off of the choice. So the choice is going to be finding the session. So the fun part is we have to call config again, and we have to fetch those values again. So oh yeah, good question. How does it integrate with Obsidian? So this is what I do day to day. Sometimes I write ideas down here. Usually I don't. Usually new ideas go into the Obsidian daily thing. If there's research that I've done where like blog posts or YouTube videos or something stands out that day, it'll often go in the Obsidian daily note as well. I don't duplicate too much. I used to duplicate where like whatever was in the bullet journal was also in the Obsidian daily note, but I didn't find that served a lot of value. At one point I was only doing Obsidian and I felt like typing wasn't quite as tactile and intentionally focused as writing things down by hand. So hopefully that helps. All right, so determine path is config session. So we're going to, on the list command, we get config. So that means our determine logic needs config, which is fine. We get that. And then what? When we looked at, we just need the path. So when I choose a sesh session, the thing is, I don't love this logic, and I maybe have to make it better over time, but we determine the path, we determine the name, and then on the determining logic, we do a connect. So the connect command itself just determines. Does it determine, returns the whole session? Okay. Path and session. So maybe I return early. Determine config session from the choice. It's one of those things that like, if this lines up, then we should be able to just return session possibly. So we're gonna do something similar that we did in list, which is fine. This is the session list, right? We're gonna list our sessions. We're gonna list our configs. So inside here, we're gonna do something similar, but not really. The choice will always be the name. So if session config name equals choice, return this. No, it's not bool. I thought I changed this. Session. And path now becomes session config path. Nope. And are these everything? Path, missing return. Return null. Actually, let's try this. I want to try this. All right, so how do I go here? And I can say change code, allow returning null. Ugh. We get an error. And it doesn't even give me what I want. Okay, that's dumb. All right, so that didn't work. Let's try again. G, what was it? G, implement, rewrite. Allow returning null. It's trying the asterisk. Oh, okay. So is it like a pointer? That actually worked. That worked, chat. Pretty good. Pretty good. Thanks. I had to pay 0.0001 cents for that, but it worked. So we're going to do it early. If is config session. So we're going to say config session is config session choice. If is not null, return it. No, not determined path. Okay, so this goes on the full determined logic. Does that mean I need to move it? It does. So that means this guy. Let's put this into determine logic, because I can just determine early. So if it is config session, then noise. Config sesh. Cannot use yeah. That sucks. So what needs to be shifted here? The sesh, if not null, return. Oh, do I have to do this again? Ah, okay. I'm learning Go. I'm learning Go, everybody. When did I start this journey, Andres? I think it was like January. So I haven't really been a Go dev for that long, but I've been a developer for like a decade. So most of the concepts are not hard at all to comprehend, but there's definitely some weird syntax stuff that I'm still trying to memorize, trying to get the sense of. All right, so now that means if I do fish, oh wait, I gotta build. Let's build. So now if we do fish, no, sesh, connect, sesh list dash C. FCF it. Fish failed to add Zoxide result. Well, we're not supposed to add the Zoxide result of the name. All right, let's find out what it did. So we do determine and then session.path. So format print line session path, yes please. It's like it knows, chat. So we'll do a little sesh connect sesh list dash cfcf. All right, now we can repeat that. Oh, my build failed. All right, so we're going to go to what is happening? Dude, I got some binding that swaps the control and alt, and I keep messing with it. It happens when I don't expect it, so I'm gonna need to rebuild the Moonlander. All right, so let's try to build again. Path go. Config. There we go. Path. Unable to connect, failed to add the double thing. That's wrong. Why did it do that? Look what it did. What is that? That is not what I would have expected to see. Determine path, do the thing. We determined, we got our path. Our path is correct. And then, oh, the path is not absolute. Why isn't it? Oh, because we were talking about this, weren't we? The actual logic that gets the config option on the determine needs to take path and dir alternate path. I don't love that name, but it is valid. And fish. A huge step, huge step. So now we can see fish is a result. And sure enough, if we close fish and we want to choose it from here, okay, now it's being weird. Let's go to fish. Oh, because, okay, let's go back. Sesh. Let's go back and remove that pesky print. We determined it. Sweet. We build, and then, I don't know, like was term isn't playing nice. Fish also isn't playing nice. What is happening? We were good. I need to figure out when I run a, so this is the problem, and I still haven't found a way, and I'm having a lot of issues with people. Oh, now I can't get to it. Sesh connects to c.files tmux. I can't get the error message here. Does anyone know how I can get a command like something in tmux to present the correct standard error rather than interesting. They're saying dump it, which I guess I could dump it. I don't love that idea. Yeah, Typecraft was here. Where were you? He was here. Well, he said hello and then he left, I think. If he's still here, Chris, give us a ping. But Chris is here. Chris is hanging out with us. So I, of course, am friends with Chris. I talk with him all the time on DMs and stuff. And I'm like, hey, you should use sesh. Hey, I think you'd really like sesh. I am making a video on sesh, but I think that if I can get this feature working, the video will be much more appealing because this tool would become incredibly more powerful by the time I'm done with implementing this feature. So, oh yeah, you just joined. Well, welcome. But yeah, Chris follows me, so we were chatting about all these kinds of things. But yeah, I'm liking his last video. I thought it was really good. Why is this erroring out? So if that's the command, can I just dump this? Like, error. Can I do like downloads / tmux sesh error.txt? So did that work? Failed to add user blah 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 dot files this thing tmux. Like, that's wrong. So it can't determine the path? Can it determine the path ever? Let's try was term. Yeah, see, look what it's doing. It's taking was term and being funky and weird and unhelpful. Thanks a lot. So why can't it determine it? So this guy, basically, all that I'm seeing is the path yeah. Let's go back. Oh, nice. It works when it works and it doesn't when it doesn't. Downloads. Okay, so it's taking this thing. Why would it determine the current path is the path? Maybe it's because the value that I'm returning, it's got to be something like the thing that's coming from. I can't create my thoughts. My brain is hurting right now. I wrap it in quotes. So is the wrapping it in quotes mean that it can't pull out that string value properly? What could it be? What could it be? So the determine logic. Print line. Let's do path. Sure. Maybe that's it. We know this is working. So this is what's not working. No session provided. Well, that's not true. I got the exit code, but I didn't get the print. This is one of those things that I don't want this feature to go away, although I could temporarily disable it. again, because the more you use it, the more the scores increase and the more that it just becomes more useful, basically. So I still want to say that, okay, when I pick this thing out, that the config path is the value that I expect. So do we build and do we trigger was term again? Config path, there's the path. So it's attempting to pull the value from the tmux command as some sort of weirdly escaped thing. So why? So what should be happening is on the sesh determine logic, this should have become true. It wasn't. When it wasn't, it went through the determine path and it decided, I know what it is. It probably decided this part down here, something about like a relative path was determined. Because what I've done here is like, that evaluates that. If it's an absolute thing, it returns that. If the session is found, it returns that. So full path it just returns itself at some point here. And on returning itself, it just decides, okay, the path has to be wherever I currently am / the weird thing that was named. And that's wrong. That's straight up wrong. So gotta fix it. Let's listen to some music. Little JT, that'll get me going. He's behind me. Oh, we can't see it. We got JT on record. Oh, maybe. We got Casey Musgraves. Any Casey Musgraves fans? She's there as well. Oh, okay, let me take a moment. So the question is, when it comes through, can I do this? Yep, that's what I thought. So this weird escaped thing is not supposed to be like that. So path may, why isn't it being, this is probably a bigger bug that needs to be fixed anyway. So let's just go back here. Let's go to the connect command. And let's find out that when we do this, we have the command, no session was provided, then we do that. So it's one of those things that like print line of session. Yes, thank you. That's definitely gonna not work. Yeah, what are we doing today? Good question. We are allowing my sesh config, my sesh CLI for tmux session management to now offer these custom sessions. So a custom session is something that you've named and you may potentially have a script for, like a startup script or a command that you want to run when this script starts, or a tmuxinator config file that you want to run, or we're going to try to integrate a few different options for how you might want to set this up. But in its most basic form, I could like select the fish package, and then I should be able to just connect to it, like have a session with that name, and it gets pointed to whatever path you've defined. So it should make this a lot more powerful. I'm going to have a lot to show off once this feature's done. But we're running into some issues today. So in the case, this is what throws me off. This is what always throws me off. When we call it like this, it is in quotes. But when I called it the other way, it came back not in quotes. So it's one of those things that like, if I don't understand why it would include quotes. Because if there's quotes in it, all right, let's go to the docs. That's better for us anyway. Your fav. All right. We're on version 2, and we want to look up arguments. Well, that's not helpful. Why would this matter? Let's see if it knows what your fave CLI is. Come on. Oh, I see. I guess this is enough. Do it at the high level if possible. All right. So that's that. Oh, it worked, chat. Oh, and that's not going to work. Come on. It still is putting double quotes here. That one works. So why Let's print this again. Dumb. All right. We are really close. This is just a step toward more of what we want. So I'm doing okay right now. How you doing, chat? Okay, so that is the value. No quotes. No, not so far. We are so close. We're so close, Andres. Don't you understand? I can taste how close we are. I might stream a little bit more. I'm gonna close my windows real quick. I think I'll stream a little bit more. I think if I can do this connect thing working with the tmux plugin, I'm gonna be pretty happy. Oh. This is your reminder to get up and stretch. If you haven't gotten up and stretched, we're going to go to standing mode. I've got a little bar height stool, and I've got one of those TikTok chairs. And I've got, what else do I got? I've got a exercise ball. So I like to move around, be in different positions throughout the day. I can use my voice. We were playing around with this last time. I can do it for like ChatGPT stuff, but I haven't figured out how to talk to code fully. I think I would do a poor job if I tried to demo it. Maybe I can try in a few minutes. Okay, so our session is valid, but we've got this icon. And then when we look at the downloads, it's showing up here, sessions downloads. But when we do was term, we have, why is that icon before? Oh, because I trim it. That's right. So this literally becomes the result, and I trim it if it finds it, basically. It's like a little hacky thing, but it works. Let's try fish. So fish is not stripping the first icon. You can't see my screen. How about that? Would you prefer that? You don't like me talking to myself? You don't like watching me talk to myself? Yeah, that might help. Okay, so I'm guessing this guy here that we're looking at, this /UE615 is the cog, which means I'm dumb. We should be able to go to, this is my fault. So on the connect command, if it has a third prefix or strings, let's try this. I'm going to pause. I'm going to go to whisper, rewrite. All right, we're going to say add a third conditional for the config icon. Let's go. That was pretty cool. I actually kind of liked that. I thought that was kind of fun. So there you go. That's how it works. And it was valid. It was smart enough to figure it out. That was cool. I'm impressed. No typing was involved, chat, aside from hitting enter. All right, so now we should be able to say was term. West term works, and then fish. Fish. Okay, cool. Second brain. Second brain. Okay. Oh, did you like that? That was interesting, right? So we're going to go ahead and TK, and we're going to go back to sesh CLI. So now you can see, chat, originally it was just called sesh. So now I can call it sesh CLI with the lightning, and this is the project. And now that will always be the project. So pretty cool. So what we need to do is on my determine logic, we're just going to do a feature, and we can say determine if the choice is a config, say config session, and then features support allow connect to trim config icon. And then what was this? Do we still need this, or was that the bug? Let's just dash this as like trim icon, because maybe, yeah. So it wasn't that your fav wasn't able to deal with it. The problem was, we can just get rid of that. The problem was the cog icon wasn't being trimmed when it was an optional thing that was set. Okay, so I need to remove the prints. Prints. There's no print there. Now I'm getting the double quotes. Dang. So do I need that double quote? Maybe I do need the double quote cleanup. Perhaps I do. All right. Well, that was just strings.trim, right? And we strings.trim double quote single quote. All right. So that was double quote single quote. All right. Was term fish config. All right, so config session.path. This guy is supposed to go away. So that was the determined thing I needed to get rid of. We will go ahead and feature trim quotes from connect arguments. And then this needs to be, can I do an interactive rebase here? Yeah, I'll just do remove quotes. All right. Well, now it's almost 9 and I'm feeling really good about the work. So, let me take a breath, chat. How are you guys doing? We got more to do for sure. I think the one that stands out to me the most is getting the startup script to work, because there's a ton of stuff that I've already have set up. I don't think that would take a crazy amount of time, so maybe we can do that next. I also think that by the time I ship this fully, I would prefer the configs being sorted in line by score with the Zoxide results. So I guess, what do I have to do? I guess when the Zoxide result gets hit, we could replace it with the config options instead. I think there's a way that I can not have to totally rewrite all this with, like, not restructure the way the data works, but still kind of merge them together. Yeah, tmux. We can create a ticket for it. I think it's best if we track each of these third-party tools independently. But yeah, imagine, Andres, like you don't have your session running yet, but all of your tmuxifier, all the tmuxifier scripts that you've written are listed here. And so the moment you choose one of them, boom, the tmuxifier script is fired. I personally love that idea. I think it'd be incredibly helpful. I'm going to run into an issue, though. Does tmuxifier name your session for you? That's what I'm wondering. I'm going to kind of give my brain a break for a second. tmuxifier. All right, so yep, so you name the things you want and then you load. Window root is the path. Oh, their screenshot's broken. That's no fun. So it has to be in your path. Okay, but that's up to you. You just have to have that working. So you would just follow the tmuxifier steps. It's cool that you can get autocomplete. tmux args, you can have separate sockets. That's very cool as well. I haven't played around with sockets. I know what sockets do. I know how they work, but I haven't played around with like having multiple sockets running at the same time. Only a couple times, and it is powerful, but I think it makes it a little bit more complicated for the average user. And I don't like complicated. I know that the logic I'm doing here tonight is kind of complicated, but in practice, in use, it is very, very simple, which is why I like it so much. Very, very little mental effort. But you can define window layouts. You can load window layouts. That's cool. Well, so I wouldn't be able to do that. I'd have to do session layouts. That would sort of be the point. Load session. Yeah, that would be the way that this would be useful. So I'd have to learn tmuxifier a little bit more. I'll give it a star. But let's make known. Why don't I have it? Issues, tmuxinator. You want tmuxinators, Andres? Tmuxifier support. As a user, I want to load sessions from a tmuxifier. I can easily create session structure using that tooling. Combine it with sesh to be more efficient. Something like that. Why can't I submit? Oh, there we go. Weird. All right, so we'll put that in the next section. How about that? Close all this. Yeah, so the thing that I think I want to try to do is basically look for the startup command or the startup script. This has to sort of be re-implemented with the way that session got changed. We're going to go from startup scripts to session. And session is a singular definition of the session. You can have startup script or startup command or tmuxifier config or stuff like that. We can just grow that. Well, to Andre's point, we were talking about tmuxifier a little bit in chat. Yeah, I mean, tmuxifier makes it easier for you, but I have offered the startup scripts and some simple patterns so that you don't need a dependency beyond sesh. You just make yourself a script. For those that are curious what that looks like, we have sesh config. So in here, I have a few that I've set up like node. So this one will split by 10 and run a D script. This is something in my custom config. This is in my like config/bin/d. And it puts this project in development mode and it detects, is it PMPM, is it yarn, is it npm? It doesn't matter. The script determines what start command is supposed to run. And then in the top panel, we switch back and then I say, hey, go to files. So now if I do new main model, we can see that dev mode starts down here without me doing anything. And then my file picker is still here in focus. So that's what it does. Andres, it might be worth taking the time to experiment with the sesh script, because at the end of the day, you're going to still, if you're going to map all this together, you're still going to have to go to the sesh config file and do something. At this point, I was expecting people would create an entry for each of the sessions that they want. That may not be scalable. We may have to find a more creative way to list like tmuxinator sessions or something, which I might be open to, but I get a little nervous as we grow the list command. Even with a third option, I'm like, okay, there's a lot, it keeps adding complexity. So something that we'll have to decide on the trade-off. Ketchupino? Dude, the name is amazing. We are writing a GoCLI. So I am the author of this one. It's called Sesh. It is a smart tmux session manager. Looks like this. And if you say, I want second brain, then it creates a second brain session. And if you want, you want your website, it can start at my website, although that one crashed and burned on me. But I found it wildly productive, and we are adding some new features today. Let's see. Am I a hacker? I am using Vim, so I guess that counts. That gets hacker points, right? Do you guys subtly see my little gopher that's programming behind us? He's more of a hacker than me. All right, so I guess let's just recreate the startup script piece of it. Oh, that's interesting. Why is it still printing? Interesting. Did I get it right? All right. I feel bad. I feel like I always end up mispronouncing somebody's name online because I have no context of what part of the world they're in and how they came up with the name. So I appreciate that I got it right this time. All right, so sesh config. Let's just go to the connect logic and let's just make sure that when we get it, we connect. On the connection, we determine, we add, and then we connect. I'm pretty sure that it's down here, persistent command. So we basically look for the command. Is command determined beforehand? Command is passed through connect. Is that the case? Oh, maybe I don't want it there. Connect, command. This is the flag. Okay, that's the flag. We don't want the flag, but it's still supported and forwarded. So this is like if you pass, you can actually do this if you do sesh connect, and we can say like, I don't know, we want to do like c.config .files config in vim, and then you can say command, and the command can be I don't know, in vim plus zen mode. Nope, that didn't work. Anyway, it's a flag you're supposed to be able to pass. I have used it in the past with some success. If it's not there, then we do that. And if we get the startup script, this is where it all changes. So we're not getting the startup script via, I think I'm going to make a breaking change here. I'm sorry if anyone's leveraging this feature. Sessions, session configs. And we basically will say, okay, based off of that, we have a session config, and the session config will have a startup script. Startup script. If match dir full path, file path match dir full path, full path. That's probably what we should have used earlier. The whole absolute thing was what we were substituting earlier. So if match full path again, why did we do all this? I'm pretty sure Joe worked on this, but I just need to figure out what would be a better way forward. What does the diff look like? Okay, zoom that back in for you guys. I see, we're calling that off of that. This feels silly to do twice. If it matches, then we return it. Otherwise, we don't return it. Or if nothing comes back, we return it. Can I just say no? No, it's not supported. Okay. We get the startup script. If it doesn't equal that, then we execute it. And if it can be executed, then we can move forward. Otherwise, we do the default. And if the default is fine for now. All right, let's try it. It shouldn't have changed too much. I guess we need a proof of concept here. So the sesh config, no Minecraft, cappuccino. We are doing tmux stuff. All right, so let's go to like, I don't know. What did I used to have here? I've still got my sessions down here, startup script. Let's try turning that into tmux. So rather than the startup command, we want the startup script because that's all I have. Scripts. I'm gonna get a lot of tmux here. Tmux. So the script path. Is that the way that they phrase it? Script path, startup script. That's what I called it. All right, so then that becomes startup script. The idea is like startup prefix underscore will be like, you can have one of these. You can't have a startup this, a startup that, a startup that. You need to pick one for each session. But you can mix and match. I don't care which one you use. You can use all of them if you want, just not at the same time. So going back to this, let's build and let's go to the tmux. Tmux. Nope. All right, so that didn't work. So the session config comes from the session path. We need to match the session config path. Oh, that might help. This path needs to match that path. And if that path matches, then we execute the script path. Something like that. Let's build it. Nice. So that is correct. That is not scripts / tmux. Config sesh scripts tmux. Config, yeah. So this gave it the path, and we want the startup script. So we're close. Startup script. We're gonna loop through all the config sessions. We're gonna get the path of the script. So if I have that and it matches, then we're gonna session config dot startup script. Yes. That's the idea. Easy enough. So now we should go to tmux and tmux. Very cool. All right, so then let's just go ahead and go back to our CLI and get this guy fixed. All right, so we're going to ensure update startup script to use session config. All right, that's going away. We're going to deprecate it. I guess I might just, I don't know. I'm going to need clear notes, clear release notes to say, hey, if you were leveraging this feature much before, you're going to have to do this. It's not going to be a hard fix. Most people will be able to just swap a couple values. But once I make my YouTube video that goes over this whole thing and how it works, then I'm thinking a lot of people are going to take it on and start using it. All right, so we're going to create the session. We're going to use startup script. Use startup script from session config. All right, so now I guess I'll spend a little bit more time. I'm getting a little tired. Maybe I'll work on this more in the morning. And I don't know if I want to stream all week, but I'll definitely keep working on this. And then at some point, I'm not going to be live streaming extra. So We'll spend a little bit more time on this. I think if I could use the startup command tonight, I would be very happy. From session config. Do any of you write in cursive still? To this day, I write in cursive every day, which is a weird thing. Not many people can say that anymore. Even someone my age. It's like, I think people that are a little bit younger than me didn't even learn how to write cursive. All right, so let's go to, let's see, I guess we're going to just prioritize this stuff for now. So rather than getting the startup script, if startup script execute, if startup command, then we're going to get a startup can you tell it's the end of the day? So this one exists yet, but in concept, it's not that different. Startup command. And rather than that and that, oh, hold on. We're going to check if the paths match, and then we're going to check if this thing exists. Oh, I guess we're doing it again. This might end up empty. So startup command is just startup command. I don't need to repeat all this. What I need to do is I need to say determine startup or something like that. I can repeat this and then I can refactor later. So startup command, exec startup script. All right, JT. You guys should check out his Tiny Desk. Justin Timberlake's Tiny Desk is really good. It had no business being as good as it was. So run persistent command. So he's sending keys. Yes. Cool. So we're going to just run the persistent command. I don't need to do all this. I just need func exec startup command. And we will do something simple like air run persistent command. Okay. Startup. All right, so now we'll do the exec startup command, and that happens here. I think that's it. So like wes term. We're checking, yeah, if it's not blank. So now if I do wes term, it's supposed to fire. Is there need to be a delay or something? See how like did something? Like there's a enter here. So it clearly tried. Maybe I do have to do more. Oh, startup script. Startup command. That was weird. Okay, command. Build was term. Let's close that and try again. Hey, so I have a bunch like sesh config. I have a bunch of these set up already, so we can play around with it. Let's try blog posts. Ooh, it was a little funky. That's all right. That one's probably was a little bit ambitious. Let's see what else. Fish. I know Fish has it. Yes. Update. Automatically starts updating. Let's go. Okay. This is my update script. I run this, I don't know, once a day or so. I love it. Okay, so more to be desired there, but it works. So we'll start by making it work, and then I'll refactor it so that it can be a little bit less redundant. Let's just go ahead and feature support startup command. And you guys are quiet. Any more questions? I think I'm gonna call it a night here soon. So now's your last chance to sort of ask the question, that burning question, or if you're curious about something about my setup, or you want my opinions on something that's been going on lately, let me know. I'll stick around for a few more minutes. But that worked. That was easy. That was like 5 minutes, chat. That was definitely a win to have a simple thing like that. Woo! Nice. All right. So I can push this. I pushed it up. I'm not ready for. All right, Andres. See you later, man. Yeah, I'm gonna go here soon too. Thanks for hanging out. You too, man. Nice. This is all working great. When I do downloads, I have it open this up automatically. So we can see, I get my little images and I can see what's in here. Very cool. That's so cool. I love that one. All right, cool. What else? Binaries. Yep, that one just opens up binaries. NeoVim opens up NeoVim. So technically, I'll work on this in the future, but the default script is just a command. So I'll just have it called, I'll just call it default command instead. Cool. Well, thanks for coming, everybody. This was fun. A little bit of chatter in chat today, but as always, if you guys have questions or want to talk about NeoVim or development or Go or any of that stuff, feel free to chat. And until next time, I will stream again probably on Thursday around the same time. So you guys get to see in the next day and a half how much work that I'm able to do between now and then to get this feature moved forward. But I really want this thing to work well. And I think if I can add tmux P or tmuxifier or one of those toolings, it may be even more enticing for people. So yeah, this is fun. Thanks for coming. Look out for the releases. If you're not already, go to the sesh repository. Please give it a star if you haven't already. I always appreciate the stars. We're almost at 200. So help me get to 200. That would be awesome. And if you want to watch custom releases, I, of course, won't do this because I'm the one that writes the releases. But if you go up here to watch releases and hit apply, basically GitHub notifications, it will give you a GitHub notification telling you about the releases and all the new things that have shown up in the world of sesh. And so this will be exciting to get this out. So I hope you guys all have a good night. evening, morning, wherever you are, and I'll see you again in a couple days.